Hello and welcome back to the Demis Hellen channel. So it's been a while, I've been ill, you can see I've lost a bit of weight, but I'm back now and we're going to kickstart some new videos with Minimal Audio's new synth Current. Been given access to this and I've been looking over it and creating some presets so I can show you guys some of the ins and outs of the synth. So it's going to be more of a walkthrough about the synth and then we're going to create some sounds, but we're going to sort of focus more on creating the sounds and we're still going to keep this video relatively short. So welcome to Current. This is the main view. This is the initialized preset. So let's just have a quick walk through before we have a listen to what this sounds like. So we've got the wavetable generator. So we've got two wavetables here, oscillator A and B, and we've got a nice amount of wavetables available to get you started. You can obviously import your own as well. We have a granular engine, so we now can do granular and create some interesting and truly amazing textures. I do like the granular engines in synths. And then we have the sub and a sampler layer, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. That all feeds through to the filters, and we have two filters. We can have these in series or parallel, and we have an option from basic to creative, comb filters, etc. And we also have an FM and AM tab here. Choose your source, increase the amount, and then whether you're using AM or FM. So everything all like that, sort of the shape inside is all relatively on the same page apart from the FM and AM. Then moving down to here, we have the master amp envelope, and we can shape this how we want by clicking, or you can be more traditional with the dials. We have 9 modulation slots, envelopes, LFOs, curves, all that good stuff. But the interesting part about this is we can choose what we want for each one. So we could have 9 envelopes if we wanted, if that's what the preset demands. So we have nice flexibility there. And then really just so we're staying on the same page, if I just click the envelope again, you can see here we've got the key bed, the modulation wheel, and we have an ARP section and a chord section here. So I'm just going to turn these off for now, and we'll go and have a look at them after. And we also have the preset browser here. So where Current sort of stands aside from other synths, they have their own built-in effects. So the sort of standard minimal audio effects, we've got the cluster delay there, we can add the compressor, we can add morph EQ, and we can use them just like we would expect. So really, really nice and tidy design. I really do like how the workflow is really simplified with this. We can also load in our own or specialized effects change as well, and then you can save them so you can load your own. And then we have access to stream. Now this, we can load presets, we can load wavetables, and we can load sounds, so we can have any of the samples that are available, and I'll show you how good that is when you're sort of doing some sound design. So for example, if you want one of these presets here, let's just say we want this racing strobe, we can load it in. Once it's done, if we go back to the engine, you can see that's loaded in. And we have a preset, and you can tweak it to your heart's content and save it as your own. So really, really nice features. I do like this. So let's have a initialized patch. And for now, I'm just going to move this off screen and let's have a listen to 3 examples of plucks/leads that I've created. And we'll control this with the modulation wheel down here on the keyboard. So we have some really, really nice sounds coming out of Current there. Galaxy is one that I'm working on at the moment, and that's got a really nice soft texture to it. This would help. Let's just hear Galaxy on its own instead of all the rest of them. It's just got a lovely texture to it. I like the way Current sounds. So let's jump back into Current here. Let's just get this lined up so you can see everything on screen. I'm going to initialize this and let's have a look at how quickly we can get some sound ideas in a trance capacity. So I'm going to use the standard saw here. I'm going to increase the voices and let's just have this on loop. So we have a lot of options available to us. We're not going to go through everything today. I'm just going to give you an idea of how this sounds, but we've got a plethora of tools to shape up this sound. So I'm just rounding off the saw so it's a little bit softer. You can see just those two there give it some nice warmth. Now let's shape up the envelopes. We just drag and drop onto the cutoff. Let's just turn this on first. Drag and drop. It's got a really nice sound to it. Let's just shape the master envelope a bit. And then I'm going to add the modulation wheel to the cutoff. Let's just open the mod wheel. Really easy to set things up, and you can just connect everything really quickly. And let's just demonstrate an LFO here. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to turn off sync and change it to hertz, turn the snapping off, and the trigger is going to be on 3 mode. And let's have a faster rate, something like that. Give it a little bit of texture and you can hear that sounds really nice. So let's turn off the oscillator and move to granular, and let's have a listen to the sound in this fashion. So I've already loaded in a couple of my own voices here. So detune saw 16 and detune saw 7. I'll make these free for this video, so you can get them in the link in the description if you want to grab these and have a mess around with them. Just going to turn this up a bit for a second. So let's have a look at what we can do with this. And one of my favorite things on here is having the layer section here, so we can now layer up these 16 voice sample files that we've already got. So saves a lot of CPU because this is an audio file that's already got 16 voices on. We can then maximize this up to 8, I think, on here. So 8 times 16, we have got a lot of voices there. So I'm going to go for 4, and we can change the patterns here. I like waves. Just changing up the shape of how these particles are moving, or the grains, shall we say. And we can see that is a really nice sound. And obviously we can filter this as well. So if we click grains, we've got access to the filters there as well. So that is the granular. We're just going to sort of skim over that. You get the idea with the positioning. And once you've got layers, we have access to the layer span, and we can choose how sort of wide those voices go. So you can see on screen up in this section, when I turn this, you can see we can sort of separate it out the opposite directions. So we can create some width and just increase the texture. It just sounds really nice. That is granular. So moving on to the sub sampler, we don't want to use the sample that we've done here. I'm going to show you how to make a nice sort of, let's just say an 808 or something along those lines, something heavily distorted. And this is great for it. So first things first, I'm going to turn on mono, and I'm going to turn the partials down to 1, just to give you an idea of what this can do. So let's grab envelope number 2. I'm just going to make a bit of a pitch slide like this. I'm going to attach this to pitch. And then I'm going to turn on the sub lock, so it locks it to a key. And you can hear we've got that nice sort of kick. I've just got to check my levels on this. I don't want to destroy your ears. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit and increase the drive. Let's just bring up that sustain. So you can see we can get a really nice sound out of that, and that's just one type. That is the soft one. So fold. We've got some good options there as well. So next, let's have a look at the sampler. So again, I'm going to load in the sample that I've already imported, which is the 1607. Let's use the 7 this time. Let's turn this back up. And we have all the controls that you could wish for on a sampler. So we've got start and end points, fade in, fade out, all that stuff, the warping for flex and repitching. We're going to leave everything as it is, and I'm going to turn on the random up a little bit here. And we can choose start and end points like this if we want to, or we can drag these here to increase them. So we've got high pass filter and obviously low pass, notches and stuff, and we have the ability again to layer voices. And again, we can route this through to the filter. And the best thing that we can do is layer all three together. So I'm going to bring the level down just in case. And we can have a nice balance. So this is a bit loud, so I'm going to bring the level down. And now we have all three playing from the sampler, the granular and the wavetables. So let's add in some effects. So I'm going to add in some cluster delay. I'm going to keep it pretty simple, 2 taps, 1/8. That sounds good to me. And then the beauty of this is we can throw some EQ on here. Control those lows. And then let's just add a bit of reverb on. Just a little bit. And then just one final thing, we're going to have a look at the arpeggio sequencer and the chord. So the ARP is the classic ARP. We'll just turn this on and hold a chord. So we've got up, one shot, and then we've got the classic, and then we've got some settings over here. So we can add the usual like swing. And then we can change these from up to down, down, up, all that sort of stuff. And then we have some melodic ones and we have some random ones. So let's choose rain. It's quite a nice one. And we've got some nice controls there. So that's the arpeggiator. I don't want to focus on that too much, but where it's at is in the chord generator. So I'm going to choose C2, and then I'm going to work up through all the white notes to C3. So we can make some chords just by pressing the key. Very, very simple. Now, we can control if they are natural, sus low, sus high. So if you're not too familiar with the sort of terminology of all this, don't worry too much because I'll show you something else in a second. And then we have the ability to choose inversions and some creative options as well. So hitting C. You can see we just created 3 chords there just by switching from natural to sus low, sus high, and back to natural. And then we can choose whether it's in root position, first inversion, second, so we've got some options there for changing the tonality of that chord. Now, we can choose a strum feature here as well. So if I turn this up to 22%, you can hear it'll strum through the 3 notes of that chord. The higher we go, the more sort of pronounced the strum is and slower. And then the same the opposite way, but it'll go downwards. And we have the ability there, you can see, to add 3rd, 5th, 7th and 9th into that as well. But if that is really sort of above your head and you're not too up on your theory for music, you can go over to the chord set preset section here and you can choose a variety of sort of preset ideas. So emotive, we could choose inspirational, and that's going to pick these sections here for you and add in these bits to give you some nice luscious chords. So let's try. So you can see there, if we hit C, we've got second inversion. Then I went to A, I've got first inversion, F second, and then first for G. So it's giving you some ideas, inspirational. So let's use powerful, let's use confirmation, for example. Totally different sound yet again, and they're all preset there for you to use. So really, really nice little handy feature to have in Current. So that is the chord section, and there we are. That is Current. I think this is going to be an interesting one to create some presets for. It definitely works for the trance environment. It's definitely something that I can use. I'm working on some basses at the moment, but I just want to show you something about the sampler that is a little bit more interesting than that particular sound that we've done there, and that is Boombox. So let's just make that a little bit bigger for you. I'm just going to make sure you can see. And this one is using a sample from the stream, so it's a vocal sample. So if we just turn off Granular for a second. But what makes this more interesting is we can turn on our sub, which I've created some harmonics here, and our wavetable, which has got this shape here, and we're just modulating pitch and modulating the cutoff here, and we get this. So you can see we can create some really interesting sequences, textures using Current. I really do enjoy using this one. I've not been told to say any of this. This is my own words. I'll put a banner at the beginning of the video so you can see that I am literally just reviewing this off my own back. I've been provided a copy, but that's as far as it goes. Everything is my own opinion about this synth, and it is good. I am enjoying using this. There's some great sounds coming out of this. I've created some great plucks that you've heard at the beginning, and also there are some great bass sounds that are coming out of this. So I'm looking forward to sharing some more videos where we look at things in a little bit more depth over the coming weeks. So if you want to see stuff like that, let me know down in the comments. If there is anything that you have question wise, ask away, and if I can't answer it, I'm sure the guys at Minimal Audio will be able to answer your questions. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. I've been Demis Hellen. This is Current, the brand new synth from Minimal Audio, and with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.